Hello fellow Jerrykins, IRL Gearim here. People have been asking me to do this video for a long time, a rank of all mainline Pokemon games, and I've been waiting for Scarlet and Violet to come out. I should have been waiting to do this video for a long time, but I kept delaying it because a new darn game would keep coming out, you know? After all, if I do this video and a new game comes out, the video will become dated. So here's the official ranking, guys. This will be the most objective Pokemon tier list. S tier is Pokemon games with exactly 151 as the local dex number. A tier is games with at least a 151 dex. B tier is games with almost a 151 dex. The rest of the games are on the F tier. They don't have 151 dex. They suck. Bye. Okay, for real though, let's do the real tier list. I'm gonna set some ground rules though. First of all, this is my personal opinion.
I lied.
Second, I'm gonna rank all the games with S tier, then A, B, C, D. Then rank F tier, sort of like school grades. Third, this tier has the GameCube games on it, but I'm not gonna rank those because this is just about the mainline games and those are spin-offs. Fourth, my opinion may change in the future because I'm a human, cry about it. Fifth, this will be controversial. I'm not gonna rank the Generation 1 and 2 games. They're gonna go to the too old to judge rank at the bottom. The reason is because these games have kind of aged poorly. It's not gonna be fair ranking those games compared to modern Pokemon games. Like, I know Pokemon Red and Blue is kinda ass to play in 2023, but consider the time was made and they didn't have a clear formula in 1996. In my opinion, modern Pokemon started in Generation 3, and I'm gonna rank Gen 3 and up only. Finally, before I start, I want to remind everyone I've done an in-depth review of Pokemon Sun and Moon, USUM, Black and White, ORAS, Platinum, BDSP, Legends Arceus, Black and White 2, XY, and Scarlet and Violet. I also sort of reviewed Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee and Sword and Shield. If you want those more in-depth explanations, go check them out. So, let's begin. The games that started off with modern Pokemon introduced my personal favorite Pokemon region, the Hoenn region. I'm gonna put it at C tier, and you're gonna probably see why. C basically means average tiers for me. Ruby and Sapphire to me is the most basic Pokemon game. It has the very basics, but it's nothing special. It basically completed the Pokemon formula more so than the Gen 1 and 2 games, such as story revolving around a villain trying to control Legendary, introduce fundamentals like Pokemon natures and double battles. There's nothing seriously wrong about the game other than the post-game being a massive downgrade from the Johto games. But there's nothing that's horrendous about the game too, so it goes on C tier. And anything below Ruby and Sapphire is a bad Pokemon game, anything above is a good Pokemon game. Get it? These games were my first Nintendo games ever. It was also my first Pokemon games. Despite the big nostalgia I have for Fire Red and Leaf Green, I'm gonna have to put it on C tier. And I almost put this game in D tier actually. And the problem is, it's way too damn faithful to the original Pokemon Red and Green. There's just too many dumb faithful things about it that makes me think it aged poorly. Like the fact that all the trainers except the gym leaders and champions use one trainer theme. The fact that they soft lock the national dex onto post game so you can't use new evolutions like Crobat, it's so dumb. Also the story and dialogue of every NPC is almost beat by beat the exact same. And despite it being Gen 3, it feels very dated. The only thing that saved this game in my opinion and put it in the average tier is the post game. The Sevii Islands are quite interesting, and visually the game's clean aesthetic and UI is really nice to look at. But I'm still putting at C. I'm sorry, guys. We're finally at my personal favorite Pokemon game, guys, but I'm here trying to judge the game by objective quality as much as possible, so I'm not gonna put it on S tier. However, I'll put it on A tier because it's the first real quality Pokemon game. The story was upgraded so much to Ruby and Sapphire by having both Team Magma and Aqua, Groudon and Kyogre. It's the first Pokemon game that had a cinematic quality to it. It's the first Pokemon game where it felt like legendary Pokemon felt like actual gods. It's also the first Pokemon game that introduced post-game content that came joy for hundreds of hours called the Battlefront here. The difficulty was also raised from Ruby and Sapphire to make it for fun. The game just looks beautiful and runs beautifully. I think the only thing that holding it back is the dated Gen 3 mechanics like no special physical spit or shitty move pools with Pokemon or something. And all their balancing stuff. Still, it's a very good Pokemon game and A tier. Alas, we're finally at the first Pokemon games that I do not like. Actually, I'm kind of sorry to use Sinnoh but I actually kind of hate this game. I'm putting this in the fail tier. Why? Well, it's obvious. It's the only Pokemon game that is physically painful to play. The game is so slow. Not just the battle animation or HP bars, but everything else in the game stutters. This is the only pre-Gen 6 game that felt like a beta incomplete game. Everything is a downgrade from Generation 3 and Emeralds especially. Cyrus is a terrible character. Legendary Pokemon just sits on his ass and do nothing. All the characters including gym leaders are boring. Cynthia is a basic boring bitch. This game is just annoying to play. Hypnosis accuracy was raised to 70 just for this game. I swear every Galactic Grunt has a Golbat that knows Confuse Ray. Everything about it was designed to slow you down. Worst part of the game is of course the 151 Dex. So little Pokemon to choose from and NPCs to use. It's nonsensical to keep new popular Sinnoh evolutions for the post game. Only redeeming thing about the game is the map design of Sinnoh and the physical special split. That's it. This game deserves to be in the F tier. For the next game, Pokemon Platinum is excellent. It's A tier material. Every problem from Diamond and Pearl is fixed. It's the textbook definition of an excellent third Pokemon game. The story is fixed. They actually made Cyrus an interesting villain. They actually made the game cinematic like Emerald again. They expanded the Sinnoh Dex so the game is less repetitive and interesting. They also added new features like the Battle Frontier. There's really no reason to play Diamond and Pearl when Platinum exists. There's just so much stuff to do. Platinum opened the golden age of Pokemon in my opinion. I almost put it on S tier, but only reason I'm putting it on A tier is that it lasts slightly compared to the S tier games I'm going to introduce next. And that is of course the best Pokemon game remix hands down. It goes on S tier. Yeah, I know this game has a terrible level curve. Yeah, I know the wild Pokemon distribution is bad. But if you get over that, it's very difficult to find faults in this game. Visually, it's my favorite Pokemon game. The following Pokemon gives every Pokemon a lot of character. The music and culture of Johto is excellent. They weren't lying when they said this game will be filled with heart and soul. Har har har. It's a Pokemon game where you can feel the passion from the devs. Also, the fact that there's 2 regions and 60 gyms is almost unfair to other games. They did a good job making Johto and Kanto feel different. And lastly, they weren't actually faithful like the previous remake. They added in missing features like the Safari Zone, new features like the Pokeathlon, new areas. Moreover, Kanto in the original Gen 2 games was kind of bad due to file size limits, but they actually fixed it by resurrecting Cerulean Cave and making Blaine's Gym a real gym. Just an excellent video game in general, one of the best games on the DS, would play it gladly any day. I know I did a pretty long video nitpicking this game, so you might think I hate this game, but no, I don't hate this game. It's a solid B tier game. I just have some very minor gripes about the game compared to Platinum and Heart Gold and Soul Silver. Like visually, I like the Gen 4 games more. There are more missing features from Gen 4 that bugged me, like the lack of Battle Frontier or minor things such as bike physics. I also did not like having only 151 Unova Pokemon before the post game. I know it was a risk by Game Freak, but it felt like just an arbitrary limitation for me. But still, the game actually tried to have a compelling story and had the best climactic ending in the series up to that point. I have to give props to the game devs for that. So B tier, it's a good Pokemon game, okay? The first sequel Pokemon games. I believe in the review video title I named it the best Pokemon games. I still stand by that point. It goes on S tier easily, the best Pokemon games. Black and White 2 is so good, the only problems about it are so minor compared to everything else. Yeah, the story's a bit meh, but it fixed a lot of problems with the first Black and White, and best of all, there's just so much stuff to do. Unova in this game actually the size of 2 regions. 100% completing this game is actually on my bucket list. Before I die, I want to complete PokéStar Studios, beat White Tree Hollow, Pokemon World Tournament, complete the National Dex on one save one day. I think it's the only Pokemon game that you can put 1,000 hours into. Bottom line, this game has almost too much content. It's the prime example of they didn't have to, but they did. But modern Pokemon games, it's they had to, but they didn't. I did an hour-long video retrospective of this game, and you know that I don't hate the game. Yeah, it's very frustrating of how obvious the game is incomplete. People cite this game as the start of the downfall of Pokemon, but I think this game still had a lot of passion made into it by the game devs. The close of XY is still the best in the series. The game actually looks beautiful for the system it was on. The 3D Pokemon actually looked good for the time and blew my mind away. It's the game that made me buy a Nintendo 3DS, and I have to give credit to that. Still, this game still lacks a lot of stuff compared to Golden Age Pokemon games, so I'm putting it on C. It's average. If they actually made a Pokemon Z and fixed the problems, if they added in a lot of content like Platinum, it could have easily been an S or A tier game, but it isn't. It's so goddamn frustrating. Ugh. If you know me, you know I'm the biggest champ for this game. I think it's the most underrated Pokemon game. It's an excellent Pokemon game. It actually made the Gen 3 story pretty compelling. The characters of ORAS are one of the best in this series. Maxie, Archie, Courtney, Matt, Norman, Steven, Wally, Brandon, May. They're also good, man. They made Groudon and Kyogre badass. And they also had us go to space in the finale. How epic was that? Just like XY, the game looks beautiful for the system it was on. It's the final Pokemon game to have a national dex. Huh? And unlike Generation 2 remakes, they actually incorporated all the Evos into the regional dex. It's a must-play Pokemon game. It could have been an A or S tier game, but you know what holds this game back? Two things, the easy difficulty and of course the Emerald content. It's not there. Also known as the Battle Frontier.
You think I'm playing? You think I'm playing? You don't think I'll do it? Where is it? Where the hell is it? Look at me. Where the hell is it?
So it goes at B tier. Still a good Pokemon game with some serious disappointments. This game is another one I have a lot of mixed feelings about. I think it's the first Pokemon game that's gone on D tier. It's not a complete fail, there are some redeeming qualities about it. The villain Luzanime is very compelling and has the best difficulty curve, and the region of Alola itself is quite enjoyable to look at. The problem is that this game introduced the goddamn hand-holding disease that infected the Pokemon games. The cutscene in this game, it's too much, my god. I cannot imagine speedrunning this game. You just sit on your ass spamming the A button. Everything is explained in lazy cutscenes. The first island of Alola is basically a 3-hour tutorial. I also hate the story trope that I think director Omori introduced, a friend character becoming the main character, and you just being an observer. Literally annoyed the crap out of me. Also, this game is so obvious it was rushed and incomplete. A lot of the island trials feels half-assed and some of them are straight up missing. Just like all the games that will be on D tier, I think it's worth playing once if you have not played it. But play only once, never look back. But if you're playing the game, you can't look back, and that is of course... You know me as the biggest USGM hater on the Pokemon fandom, and that still has not changed. I have been using the F word because of YouTube's recent dumb decisions, but I'll say it here. Fuck this game. Honestly, cannot understand how anyone enjoys this piece of poop. It's the first Pokemon game that actually felt like a cash grab. No, a scam. Selling the same game twice just to milk the dying Series DS, but unlike Emerald or Platinum where they fixed status stuff, they barely changed anything, and all the stuff they added fixed nothing and they were useless. The whole Ultra Megalopolis storyline was laughably terrible. It ruined the good part of Sun and Moon, that being Luzanime. Team Rainbow Rocket was just desperate, illogical nostalgia bait. Ultra Wormhole Man 64 to catch legendaries is a lazy joke by the clown developers, insulting pandering Kanto nostalgia everywhere. The incomplete island trials are still incomplete. Just thinking about this game makes me facepalm. Worse, they were clearly setting up a Pokemon Sun and Moon 2. The potential was there for another Black and White 2. Again, fuck this game. F tier. I wasn't sure if I would even consider this a mainline Pokemon game, but according to the devs it is, so I guess I'll do it. I know a lot of people hate this game, and it's true that it's a lazy cash grab targeting the Pokemon Go audience, but I don't think it's worthless and putting it on D tier. There's some redeeming qualities about it. For starters, it's still the best looking HD Pokemon game on Switch. It's jaw-dropping how bad the graphics would get after this. Also, they actually weren't faithful to the OG games and changed some stuff about the game, unlike Fire Red, like adding new story events so the NPC characters are stronger, or adding characters like Miss Come Up for Trial, or that final Rocket admin guy from the Gen 2 remakes. Also, it's still a Pokemon game that made the ride of a Pokemon work as it should. It's the best thing about the game. While I think it's worth playing this game once like Sun and Moon, it's still a Kanto remake no one was asking for. Having only OG 151 Pokemon but having Mega Evolutions and Alola form is just baffling, and deleting Pokemon abilities was stupid. After Scarlet and Violet, I've seen some people say, oh, Pokemon Sword and Shield is better now. I disagree, this game so fucking sucks. It's insulting, I'm putting on F tier automatically. Actually, this game is worse after playing Gen 9. The region of Galar is embarrassing to play through, the linearity of the map design is laughable, it's brainless to play, there's a character encounter every 3 minutes, you cannot walk 5 steps in this game without the game letting go of your hand. This game is just easy to make fun of. The graphics are terrible, Wild Area is just a dumb unfinished concept for later games. Just an awful video game in general that's not worth $60. Also, I was an avid Pokemon collector. Deleting the national deck started with this game, and it's still a thing that pains my heart that makes me hate the game and the lazy devs. Now, a lot of people say the DLC is much better, and in the past videos I said I didn't play them, so people got confused about that. Here's the thing, I bought the DLC, but I didn't finish it because it's so boring. That's why I haven't completed it yet. Anyway, this game's terrible, and I'm playing it live currently, and I dread every time I have to stream this piece of shit. We go from one terrible Pokemon game to another, and I'm putting this game in F tier automatically. It's fucking garbage, okay? I think it's the only F tier game that no one will be mad I put it there. Just like USM, it's still 2 Pokemon games that actually felt insulting to me. It just shows contempt for the audience, as if they knew the game would sell no matter the quality. It's a cynical, desperate nostalgia cash grab. Completely ignoring Platinum is just gut-wrenching, the game's art style is questionable, and it adds nothing to the original games. The word faithful has become burned in my mind and become trauma, okay? It's a game that makes me ask, who looked at this garbage and decided it was a final product? Seriously, Pokemon Company could have just put a sticker with the middle finger drawn in the box art and sold it for $60, and it would feel the same. Bottom line, terrible, terrible, terrible. It's the least favorite Pokemon games tied with USM for me. This might be the biggest hot take in the video if you're new around here, but I do not like this game a lot. I think it's the most overrated Pokemon game. It's just basically a beta test game for Gen 9. The only focus the developers put into this game was the Pokemon catching mechanic. I can see why the Pokemon catching mechanic could be fun to people. I mean, I guess the stealth element could be fun, but everything else in the game is terrible, and it completely ruined my enjoyment of the game. The story is about as bad as Sword and Shield. There's too many lazy cutscenes. The game's world is lifeless with doomed dead village, no random trainers in the wild to fight, no towns to find except some stupid tents, no dungeons to explore, all the side quests are basically fetch quests. I know this game tried a lot of new stuff, but it's just another half-baked idea that feels like it's trying to cash in Breath of the Wild's success by copying its aesthetic poorly. Still, I think it's worth playing it once though, so listing it as D tier. I'd rather have had Game Freak make a progress to the remake in the style of Hardcore Digital Silver or ORAS than make this experimental beta test and handing the remakes off to some obscure port developer to make a budget remake. The latest Pokemon game it's a mixed bag. I said in the review video that it's the best Pokemon game since ORAS, and I still stand by that. The world of Paldea actually did enjoy exploring. The characters like Nemona and Arven were likable. The gym leaders are pretty fun. Also, the whole ending with Area Zero and the professors, the ending climax of the game is one hell of a ride and done well. It actually was fun to play this game, unlike any of the Gen 8 games. But again, this game is another case of rushed because of the amount of glitches, the lack of a level scaling curve in an open world game, obvious unfinished stuff like no building interiors. This game could have been really good, and it ends up being a really mixed bag of good and bad. I think the good nor bad outweighs each other, so I'm putting it on C tier. It evens out as average. So this is it, my final tier list. Again, opinions might change depending on my mood. Cry about it, I'm human. Still, I hope you think this is a pretty based opinion of the franchise and share your thoughts in the comment below, okay? If you disagree with anything here, well, do some constructive criticism in the comments and I won't read it, okay?
Agree to disagree.